Well, hello and welcome to another live stream with me, Adam Finer, at Learn BI Online. I hope you're well. I hope you're having a good week so far. Let me know where you're joining from in the chat or the comments. In fact, if you've got anything you want to say, any questions, feedback, comments, whatever it might be, please do put it into the chat and I will get to them as we go. Great to have you here. Yes, we are a Wednesday this time. Normally, the first two were on a Friday and a couple of hours earlier, but due to kind of time zones, 4 p.m. my time is actually better in terms of the US market. So that's why we're doing it a couple of hours later. And also, we're doing it on a Wednesday because apparently that's when most people are online. So there we are. So thanks for joining. And if you are new here, the idea of these live streams is that we are building every single week. We're building a kind of mega project that is intended to go into your data analyst or your BI analyst project portfolio. So I'm going to do a quick recap before we get started. So just so that everyone knows where we are. But yeah, as we go through, if there's anything you want to ask, please do put it in the comments and I'll answer them as we go through. Okay, so where were we? That's a good question. Hopefully you can see my screen. So like I said, this is the third week. Now, the first week, I kind of jumped into it without a plan, which turned out to be a mistake because ChatGPT had issues generating the data that we wanted. So when it came to the second week, I'm calling that the first live stream. That's when we kind of took the thing more seriously. So in the first live stream, we started with a prompt that I gave ChatGPT. And this is the prompt down here. It's all about asking ChatGPT to accompany me while I create a project for my portfolio based on a startup that's created a futuristic and modern-looking wireless headphones that are AI enabled. They started a Kickstarter campaign that was successful, and then once the campaign had finished, they ordered the manufacturing product. Basically, if you want to see this, in fact, I'm probably going to share this doc at some point, but that is the general background for it. Okay, so in the live stream one, we gave this prompt to ChatGPT, and we decided on an approach. Now, this project, I'm calling it a mega project because there are going to be lots of different data sets that go into it, because that really does mimic a real world business scenario. So we are starting with like a Kickstarter data set. We're going to go into inventory data sets, sales, marketing, web analytics, things like that. We're going to start building up this whole project. That's why I'm calling it a mega project. But we're doing it iteratively, doing it kind of a step at a time and working it out as we go. Now, you might be thinking that this is overkill, and you'll see what I've done since the last live stream. You might be thinking this is overkill, but the fact that it is kind of in depth, and we are, creating all of these different data sets, it can be it shows initiative if you have to have this kind of project in your portfolio. It shows the kind of links that you go to, and your inventiveness, your ingenuity, that kind of thing, your initiative. So that's why we're kind of going very far with this project. Anyway, so in live stream one, I gave the prompt. We decided on an approach. We decided on the data sets we needed, or at least the first kind of data sets we needed. We decided on a brand name and product range. We created product images, created a logo, and we created a one-page website. So in this live stream, I'm doing the recap now. We're going to take a look at the website, and I'll show you what I've put together. We're going to fine tune the Kickstarter data set, because in between last week and now, I sort of fine tuned it with ChatGPT. So I'll show you the kind of prompts that I used in order to get it to work properly. And then I thought we would build our first dashboard with the Kickstarter data, and then perhaps think about building manufacturing and ordering data sets. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing. So let's take a look at the website. And here it is. We chose a name, Omnisound, Omnisound audio, and the name of the headphones is Omnisound 1. We got ChatGPT to create this image of the headphones. And what I did was, initially I sort of did a very quick Photoshop with them because I kind of create these 4 different colors. ChatGPT gave me this one here. So if I go to Photoshop, here we are. You kind of, and this is what I did, I created layers. For those of you who want to know sort of how to do this in Photoshop, you kind of create a layer, which is just the bits that you want to color in. And then you apply a hue saturation layer to that. And it just means that you can change the color of that thing to anything that you want to, essentially. So that's what I did. I created 4 separate images, so we got the gold ones, the blue ones, and the red ones, and the kind of the gray ones. So I put this website together, and I did it using Card. Now, Card is a really great site for building one-page websites. I've got about 5 or 6 websites that I've built using this, all within the same account, so that makes it really easy to use. And it's very good value as well. I think I pay $19 a year, not a month, but a year, and that's for kind of like unlimited websites. So if you're interested in that and building a website for any of your projects, this is something that I would definitely recommend. So we chose a template, and if we go to the ChatGPT, this is where we finished. Okay, so we were looking at taglines and subheadings that we were going to be using for the website. So and then we chose the ones that we wanted with that. Then we sort of went back to the Kickstarter data set, and we had problems with it. There were kind of within the randomization that ChatGPT put all of the same values in the first rows, and then the second value in all the remaining rows, although it was in chronological order. So that wasn't the best way to set it up. It needed to be more randomized. So we asked ChatGPT to do that. It was wrong again. So I kept on going through until it gave me this one here, which was much better. But we needed a better number of pledges instead of a big round 4,000, because ChatGPT just, it just made a data set with 4,000, a big round number, which isn't very realistic. So I just asked it to give me, please generate 4,122 instead, just to give it a random number. So that was done. This still gave me 4,000. So I had to ask it to do it again. So I asked it how many rows it were. It said, you're quite right. I put 4,000 in. So anyway, it gave us the 4,122 backers. It tried a few times to do that, but eventually it got it right. And we got the state in there as well, customer state. Could you put Omni's USPs into a canvas? So a canvas is a thing in, it's like a document within ChatGPT, and you can see all your canvases here. So this and this is a great way to kind of organize your project. You can put different parts of your project into different canvases. So that's what I did with that. So that's the next thing I asked. Could you generate more sales copy? And the reason I was asking it to do this, and this is another canvas here. I know this is the unique USPs. The reason I wanted that is so that I could put it into here, and you can see that all of this is generated by ChatGPT. I just then copied and pasted it into this template, which I got from Card. So you can see that it looks very good. I mean, having a website like this as part of your project, it's obviously not necessary, but if you can show within the projects in your portfolio that you can achieve something like this, and that you're not just a dashboard designer, you can build a website, you're being very inventive and innovative to do all this stuff, then it can only be a good thing. So we got Midnight Black, Gold Horizon, Electric Blue, and Crimson Pulse. Again, all of this was decided upon by ChatGPT. I think I'm using the wrong microphone again. Let's try this. This would actually be better. This for Um, so yeah, and then what I asked you to do is here. So all of this, you can see I asked it to give us sales copy for these, copy and paste to the website. And I said, that's great. Now, if you create an image for it, it would be an upload. So it created this. I didn't want that one. I said, I look good, but I don't need the logo because we've already chosen the logo. So it gave me this one, and this is the one I chose. Here's the premium carrying case. Perfect. Awesome. Could you provide the same image as a PNG? Because I think it was a WebP. Yeah, WebP format. Anyway, we got that. Could you give me some sales copy for the case? So it did that. There were two prices, $399 without case and $499 with. Could I have some text for each that goes with the prices? So we got OmniSound 1, choose your experience, and then OmniSound 1 Premium Edition, includes the premium carrying case. So we got that. And again, this is all done via ChatGPT. And that is what I used in order to create the website. And then we got the prices here, etc., as seen on Kickstarter. We got all of that. Join the audio revolution, and you can collect people's emails if you want to do that as well. All right, so that's basically a recap of what we did, and then I had a quick play around with the data that it generated for the Kickstarter thing, and there were a couple of things that I needed to fine tune. Missing state data. It's almost perfect. Only half the states are included in the data. So that's where we're at. We are now up to date. If you've got any questions or comments, please do put them in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from today. So as I said, if we go back to here, we go fine-tune the Kickstarter data set and build a dashboard with Kickstart with that particular data. So let's do that now. We are now in Looker Studio, and I always do my demos with Looker Studio because it is a free-to-use tool, so anyone can do it. You just need a Gmail account, and then you get free access to this. So we are going to create a new data source. So let's create a new data source, and it's going to be a file upload. Okay, no, sorry, a file upload. In fact, I've already uploaded it here, but let me just go through the process again. So this is the final one. So Looker Studio is going to process that file, and when it goes green here, it means it's ready to go. We just hit connect, and then we'll be presented with the schema of the data source that we have. There's only a few columns in it. So we've got the backer ID, which is going to be text, date pledged, which is a proper date, pledge amount, which is a number, but it's going to be a dollar amount. So let's go to numeric, currency rather, and US dollar. Pledge tier, that's text. State, now state is not text. State needs to be geo, country, subdivision, first level in Looker Studio. So I'm going to select that, continue. Okay. And that's it. We now want to go through and create a report. So, as I said, there aren't too many fields in this, so there's not a whole lot we can do with it. But why don't we play around with it anyway? And I'll show you how I go about building a dashboard. Looker Studio puts something here just as a starting point, but I'm going to select that and just backspace delete. So we're going to start with a couple of KPIs. Let's do a record count. Every single row in this is in a particular backer, so we want to know the total number of backers. In fact, let's bring this in here like so, and instead of record count, we're going to call that backers, so we can change what the text is that appears here. Yeah, just have that. I'm just going to have that. I mean, what you want to do is you want to, as you're doing this and you're designing this, you want to make it a cohesive and a coherent design strategy across the project and everything else that goes with it. So we've already created a design. We've created a logo. We've created our website. So you want to make sure you're using kind of the same color schemes, color palettes. You can see there are some blues in here. we got the colors of the different headphones. So we've got the gold one here, electric blue, crimson pulse. We've got sort of gray or silver. There you go. We got some orange at the bottom. So we got different ideas for how we can incorporate colors. So that's what you want to do. You want to have a consistent look and feel across. Can't remember what, let me see if I can. This is the actual website builder here. Let me see if I can find out what the instrument sounds. I'm not sure we're going to have that one. But we can change if we go to the theme and layout and customize. We can change from Roboto to something else. What about Oswald or Orbitron? Nah, we don't. How about we'll just have Open Sans. Okay, so backers, and let's do something in terms of the style of that. Where are we? Background, border color. So I think we're just going to go for a light gray, and we want to have rounded edges. Probably quite severely rounded edges if we are going to do it. Let's do 50. Nah, that looks terrible. 25. Yeah, that could be good. It's a bit light, can't really see it. It's okay for now. It's okay for now. All right, so what I want to do is just use my keyboard shortcuts to copy and paste so we can get another one, place it there. This time, what shall we do? Pledge amount. Let's put that where backers is instead. Oh, and that's a very, very long number. It doesn't all fit in. So what we want to go, style and compact numbers, 1.19 million. You could use the number of decimals as well. You could have 3 decimals. No, we'll just stick with auto. Okay, so that's the pledge amount. We have pledged here. So that, let me just drag that on here. So we've got the early bird, super early bird, and Kickstarter standard. Actually, what is the pledge amount for those? If we change this to average instead. Okay, Kickstarter standard is 349, super early bird 249, and 299. So what we could do is turn this. This data set isn't going to change. So this is kind of like a static dashboard, if you like, for this particular part of the project. So in that case, I'm going to use, what we're going to use? We're going to use a donut chart. So this shows the number of backers because we're using the record count. It looks very, no, perhaps we don't want to use that. Sorry, the metric is actually pledge amount. If we did change that to record count. Okay, that's kind of more interesting. We can see the number, the split between early bird, super early bird, and Kickstarter standard in terms of the number of backers. Okay, like so. Right, what else could we got? We got state. So let us drag that into here. Okay, it's fine. I think probably want to make this a bit larger. I think we might want to make this a heat map. Let's see what we've got in terms of figures. So we've got Alaska and Hawaii. Sometimes that's a bit annoying when you have these kind of outlying things outside because you can kind of zoom. That's what you essentially want. But I suppose if you bring it down, you could do that. Okay, so what we have in terms of options for metrics and well, we've got dimension is state. That's what we've got. But we've got different options in terms of color dimension, size, metric, and color metric. So we could say, we could do number of backers. Number of backers, so that would be record count. We could have that in size. Whoa, okay. I think what we need to do is go to the style options and change the bubbles so that. So we can either do that. That's one option that we have. We can change the size of the bubbles. We can also, instead of having size, we could have color instead, in which case the bubbles need to be bigger. Nah, that doesn't look great. So we can have a mixture if you really want. We've got record count as the color metric and pledge amount as the size metric. Hopefully this is okay. So what you end up getting is some kind of bubble heat map. So it might actually be better to have a heat map itself, which we have got the option to do in here. What have we got? We've got the chloropleth. I don't really like the way that looks. You know, if we're zooming in, it might look a bit better, but I still don't really like that very much. Reset viewpoint. There we go. What else have we got? We got heat map. So we could use heat map. What else have we got? Combo map, and we've got geochart. What about a geochart? That's pretty much a chloropleth. I quite like that. I prefer that. So we've got that, or we have a heat map. So which do you prefer? Do you want to vote in the comments? Which do you prefer? Do you prefer the heat map or the chloropleth, which is that they've actually called a geochart? What have we got for this? We got the pledge amount. Okay, well that means that in Montana, it seems there was the most amount of pledges. Now, obviously, the only kind of restriction with this is that you've only got one metric that you can put in there. When we have the bubble map here, you can have that size and color, so you can look at how two different metrics, you know, relate to each other. But in this case, I think the chloropleth is the best idea. What do you think? Let me know in the chat, please. And let me know where you're watching from as well. It'd be good to know where you are watching from. So there isn't too much else we've got in terms of data, unless you can think of something. We've got pledge tier, pledge amount, date. Let's do, yeah, of course we've got that as well. I'm going to take this and this and move them down a bit. Maybe move these down a bit too. And let us add a chart and a time series chart. We're going to add that over here like so. All right, so this is the pledge amount over time. So you can see it's kind of ramped up. And this was one of the things that when the data was first generated by ChatGPT, it was all kind of very much consistent figures over the different dates, which isn't really, you know, realistic in terms of how a Kickstarter would go. It would kind of start off slowly and gradually pick up as you go. So we've got different options in terms of how we can display the line chart data. Because that's what we're going to do. Okay, so if you go to this pencil here, you've got the option to have a running calculation. So you can have a running sum, running minimum, maximum, etc., etc. If we have a running sum, so this is like a running total, we can see how the pledges came in. And what we can actually also do, which would be a good idea, is we go here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? You can add reference lines. Where are the reference lines? Ah, here we go. Add a reference line, which is just going to be a value. And I'm going to put this as the 250,000, right? So that is our reference line. Show label, reference line, target. So we can see that we reached the target on this date here, which was the 25th of March, 25 days after it went live. So we can show the label. We don't have to show the label if we don't want to. Show reference value in label. No, it's the same kind of thing, so that's fine. We don't need any other reference line. I could make this a bit smaller. It doesn't need to be this big. So that's that. Now, we want our logo as well in here somewhere too. I don't think we need any interactivity. What we've got. So this is the number of. I'm just going to try something here. I'm just going to try using record count instead. Okay, and obviously again we're going to do the same thing. Backers, like so. Okay. Just choose something. What we can also do, cross filtering is enabled for all of them by default normally. So what this does, if we just go back to here, so it means that with the interactivity options, if I wanted to see who are these people who went for the Kickstarter standard, I can click on it and it will apply that. There are 122 backers. They pledged a total of 42.58K, and well, 6 of them in Arizona and Illinois. There we go. So that's kind of really good interactivity that you've got here. Very, very simple to do. You can exclude certain, well, here, for example, if we take off cross filtering, it will remain this. Okay, but I don't know why you would actually. If you have this on, let's try for this one now. So you can see the evolution of the super early bird as well. Okay. Target doesn't mean so much when we're doing this, but anyway. So I think we could probably make these a little larger as well because we've got space. So maybe we could. I'm not sure. What do you think? In that case, we want to go to the style options, and I think we want to put everything in the middle, like so. Labels, how about maybe even bigger than that? No, too big. 36. What I can do is I can take this, I can do Control or Command C for copy, go to here, and then paste special style only, and that will apply it to that as well. So do we want to have them like one underneath each other like that? Are they the same size? No, now they're the same size. Actually, let's have a bit more room over here. Okay. Let's reset that. Just a look at stuff. Always good idea to sort of go back and have another look at it. I think I'm going to put a header in here as well. And as I said, we're going to put our what is it, logo in here as well, if I can find it. So that's this one here, add image, upload. Let's see if I can find it. Omnisound. Here we go. Right, so this is our logo. Can put it up here in the corner. Gonna have some text. Let's just put a text box up here. So Kickstarter campaign. So what was it? It's through to March to April 2024. Okay, let's maybe make that bold. Make it larger. Maybe a bit too large. I'm not even sure whether I want it to be bold. Or maybe I do. Got some comments in here. Oh, hang on. So greetings from Atibaia, Brazil. Oh, welcome, Bruno. I thought these lives happen on Fridays. Good, I saw this while it was still live. Yeah, well, it was as I was explaining at the beginning on a Friday, but due to the time zone difference, I wanted to make it later in the day, and I can't do later in the day on a Friday, so it needs to be Wednesday. And also, I did a poll not so long ago where I asked, if I did live streams, when would you prefer it to be? And most votes were for, it was fairly even spread, but there were most votes for Wednesday, so that's why. But yeah, thank you for joining, Bruno. Glad to have you with us, and thanks for the comment. I think this is too big. Yeah, I mean, another thing we can do, and I think I'm going to change the colors with this as well. Another thing that we could do. I'm just thinking, I mean, if we put that down here, we can have, not text, a shape. This is kind of what most dashboards look like. We're going to change the arrange, order, center back. So we could potentially have this. No, that's that. Yeah. And have the text being white. I'm not convinced. What do you think? Maybe have it. Hey, Atikur Rahman, hope I'm saying that correctly. Very nice of you to be here. Thanks for the comment. Anyone else want to tell me where you're watching from? What do you think? Do you think that that looks okay with this logo here? I might want to. You can't actually see the full thing, can you? So let me just zoom out one. Okay, that might be a bit better. That gives us a better idea of what it looks like. It's okay. Okay. From India. Welcome. All right, so it's all right for now. What I want to do, as I said, I do want to change the colors for these. I mean, these colors, they're the default colors of Looker Studio, and they're fine as they are. But if we look at our our website, we could use different kinds of colors. I don't think gold's a good idea. Electric blue could be. I'm thinking more of this kind of dark blue. Let's see what we can do. So here we are. So we go to the style options and no, not single color. So let's add a new one. Blue. What kind of color is it going to be? Something like that. Okay, and this one here. Sorry, no. What other? Yeah, that color seems to be okay. Let's change this one here to be to be what? Maybe more of this red color, or this orange color. Don't know what color that is. Let's find out what color that is. Let's go down to the bottom. It's this one here. Let's take that. Am I on the right one? Just make sure. Okay, in which case, what is this color here? Sometimes it doesn't remember it, but so I'm just going to, let's just, I don't know, hang on. Don't even know. Well, let's see. So we're here. Have we got it? Oh, there it is, good. We'll do the same for this as well. Okay, how does that look? Any comments? Oh, do you know what? We could instead have that color as well. Does that make it look better? Maybe. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? So I'm a beginner and still learning from you. Love from India. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So that is our dashboard. And as I said, it's a static dashboard. I mean, we could, if we wanted to, add something like a date range control up here, in which case, so yeah, but it doesn't really make that much sense because it is just a fixed period in time, and because you can normally, I think, zoom. Let's go into view mode. I could just select that in view mode and it zooms in on it. See, so, well, it doesn't actually apply that as a filter. That's the only thing, does it? Anyway, so that is what that's what it looks like. What's everyone think of that? Any good? But this is just the first dashboard with our first data set of our project. So the next data sets, the ones that I'm thinking of, because we're taking this in order, Kickstarter is the very first thing. So we've got our money. We've got 1.19 million, okay? And there are 4,122 backers. So remember that we need to, the next kind of phase of this is paying for the production of these different units. Okay, so in order to calculate this kind of thing, we need to do some calculations in terms of how much it's going to cost us to manufacture each unit, how much it's going to cost us to ship each unit. And all of this is, really important information. How do we do that? How do we estimate how much it's going to cost? You could kind of, well, we can ask ChatGPT is what we can do. Okay, so let's go back to ChatGPT and ask it for some help in trying to figure out how much something like this would cost to manufacture. I don't know if ChatGPT is going to know, but if not, we can kind of base it. We can kind of ask, what kind of margin, what kind of markup would you expect from this kind of product? So now let's move on to manufacturing data. First, we need to work out how much the Omnisound 1 and the case cost to produce per unit. Per unit. Do you have any thoughts? Let's see what it says. So Bruno is saying, I have heard of Look Studio but did not know it yet. I do know Power BI, but it is good to have some basic proficiency in other tools. It's good to know, if you want to be a BI analyst, it's good to know more than one tool. Yeah, you're right. It is good to have I'd say more than a basic proficiency. I think you should know at least 3 BI tools to a fairly good level. So if you're ever asked to produce a dashboard with it, you're not kind of spending half your time figuring out how to do stuff, and you kind of get on with doing it. Okay, so here we are. To determine realistic production costs for the Omnisound 1 headphones and premium carrying case, we need to break down the cost components. Based on industry standards and materials used in premium audio products, here's an estimated breakdown. Okay, I'm going to ask, could you put this information into a canvas? So if we ask it to do that, it's going to create another. There we go. Now we've got 2 canvases. Okay, so it's just going to print all this out again. So yeah, as I was saying, yeah, it is definitely good to have a proficiency, probably more than basic, in at least 3 tools. The ones that I teach in my program are Power BI, Looker Studio, and Tableau. So if you've got those 3, you're covering a lot of bases. Because if you're going for a job, those will be by far and away the most in demand. And if the company uses something other than those, they might be more forgiving rather, if because it's understandable that everyone knows these sort of Power BI, Tableau, and Looker Studio. But if it's something like ClickSense or Zoho or whatever, or Domo, whatever it might be, it's not kind of the expectation level that you do know that tool isn't as high. Obviously, if you do know it, you've got a better chance of landing the job, but I think you understand what I'm trying to get across. Anyway, so we put all of this into the canvas. So AI, I think this is quite detailed, but this can be a data set as well, right? Okay, let's just go through it. So AI chip and processing unit, $18 to $25. Speaker drivers, total estimated cost $94 to $144. Likely target $120 per unit. I think that seems quite high. I think what are we selling them for? I can't remember. 400 and 500. I think we want at least. Help me out, people. What do you reckon? But I'm thinking that we probably want at least a 3 times markup. So. Is that what is being suggested? Hang on, 120. Yeah, so that's right. Yeah, okay. How about we turn this into a data set? It can only be a good thing. So, so let's do that. Let's do that. So, this is great. Let's aim for a total cost for the Omni Sound one of, let's say, I don't know, $119, right? And the carrying case of, what is it, 17 to 32? Let's call it 20. Let's just pick a number, $26. Could you refine the data so that all of the figures for the various elements add up to these totals? Then put these into a data set with a column for product name /ID. So basically, I'm thinking product ID, product name, component name, cost, notes. So it's with the, hang on, let's just do that with the following columns. So we want product ID, product name. What do we say? Component ID, component name, price. Oh, it's price, no cost. It's cost, isn't it? Cost and note. And okay, let's see if ChatGPT can do that. We could probably close this down for now. So we have from Brazil, from India. Where else are you joining from today? Where are you in your BI journey or your data and analyst journey? what is your experience? Let me know. I mean, one of the reasons that I want to do these live streams regularly, not just to sort of teach stuff and show stuff, but also just to find out about my audience and find out what kind of content you want to see, and just to get to know you. Because in my analytics, only about 5% of people who view my videos are actually subscribed, which means that it's one indicator that there's not much of a community going on with the channel, which is what I'm trying to rectify by doing these kinds of things. So do let me know where you're from. Do comment. If you've got any suggestions for the data, for anything like that, then please do put them into the chat or the comments, and I will get to them. So I think it's having a bit of a difficult time doing this. Might be, if I go open this again, that I might have to do it myself. I'd rather not. I'd rather let ChatGPT do it. But what the idea would be, oh, here we go. Let's download this and take a look. Okay, so is this what we want? Let's see. So what did we say we wanted it to come up to 119? It's done it, 119, and this 26. Okay. Now, it's never normally these round numbers. So if we really wanted to go into as much detail as possible, assuming that these are let's see what this is in terms of number. Yeah. Okay, never mind. Well, you know, if you are doing this, and maybe I will do it later down the line, perhaps we haven't got time to do it now, but we would make these like 1984 or something like that. So just so that it makes it look more realistic. Okay, so what the idea behind this is that we now are able to calculate, or we will be able to calculate how much it's going to cost to manufacture all of the products that have been ordered during the Kickstarter campaign. Okay. So Bruno, in my case, I do work already as a data reporting analyst. Okay, but I still want to build a nice projects portfolio so I can get some freelance BI projects. Good plan indeed. So what kind of data reporting do you do? What do you report on as a sort of a standard job? Okay. So as I said, where were we? So we were here. So yes, we've got, if we go to our project, in fact, we need to give this a name as well. OmniSound Kickstarter dashboard. Okay, so we've got 4,122 backers. Now they all ordered the headphones, not the case, because the case wasn't available during the Kickstarter campaign. So that just makes life a lot easier. So essentially what we would do is we would bring in this data set and then we would blend them together. Okay. And then we would figure out how much it costs to, in fact, the ideal thing that we want to do is we want to put all of this into a relational database. And that way it makes it much easier to join the data together and create the data, the exact data sources that we want. But anyway, I'm not going to build another data set or another dashboard rather. Now we've got this. So we're going to, next week, either I will have put it into a relational database or I will have figured out what we're going to do next in terms of this, basically. Okay, I mean, I think that's all I had planned for today. Build manufacturing ordering data sets. So, well, we've got the manufacturing ones. In terms of ordering, let me think. I mean, that's fairly straightforward. because essentially we would have a data source whereby we would need to order. We'd have a data source which would be order ID, date, product, number of units, and that's it. And then we need to calculate the shipping cost as well. That's what we're going to need to do next week as well. We're going to need to figure out the dimensions of the box that the product will come in. And then we will need to find out how much a similar product weighs. And then we will need to work out how much shipping is going to cost, because a lot of the time it's done per kilo. It could be that we would need a container. I'm not sure with the amount of we need to because what did we say? We said we needed the 4,000 units for the initial backers and enough for 6 months of sales. So we need to kind of estimate how many sales we're kind of hoping to do over the first 6 months and buy enough or order enough units to cover that. Okay. And then once we've done that, I kind of thinking further down the line, when we start to build the data set for the sales, there might be places whereby due to the spike in sales, we're going to need to order, put in another order for more units, that kind of thing. But anyway, this is all, and it's an iterative process, and the more detail there is, the better. And this kind of thing helps you get into a business mindset as well. It helps you think about all of the different angles there are, the different data there is. And if you can include all of this in your project and display and have it in your project so that when you're going for a job, you can display that you understand all elements of how a business works. Okay, from we've done the Kickstarter, from the manufacturing, the ordering, the sales. There's going to be refunds as well in there as well. So we've got that. There's going to be an influencer campaign at some point, which is going to have a spike in sales. So we're going to want to have a web analytics data set, a web traffic data set. We're going to want to have a marketing data set so we can find out how much we spent on marketing, how much we spent on these influencers in their campaign. That's part of the backstory. If you want to know the full backstory, then please do go ahead and watch last week's live stream, because that is where we invented the backstory. I'm not going to go over it again, so please do go back and watch the last live stream. So yeah, there's going to be an influencer campaign. We're going to hire and there's another one, a staff dashboard as well. As the company grows, there's going to be a warehouse manager. There's going to be a social media manager. You get the idea. Okay, so we're kind of building up and up and up, and also once you finish this project, you're going to be able to make 5, 6, 7, 8 different projects out of it. Or you can make one mega project, which is kind of what we're trying to do. But having this level of detail displays to any prospective employer just what you understand about business, the problems. If you can create a whole backstory for your project like we have done, that really shows initiative. It shows ingenuity. It just shows loads of good character traits and good points that are going to be interesting for an employer. Okay, so Just Kess, hey, watching you from Botswana, Africa. Very, very welcome. Please do more videos on the full project analysis from start to finish. That's what I'm doing now. They are really helpful for us beginners who don't have much experience with data. Well, that's the whole idea of this live stream and this series of live streams, because we're going to be doing this every single week on a Wednesday at 4 p.m. unless something happens and I can't make it. We're going to be doing it every week, and every single week we're going to be adding to this project. And by the end of it, we're going to be our heads are either going to explode or we're going to have a massive project that we can all share. Okay, so please recommend companies that are more open to hiring newbies if you know any stuff to get experience out there. That's an impossible thing for me to know, I'm afraid. I'm in the south of France, so I can't tell you. I don't know of any companies in Botswana to start with. So sorry about that. I can't really help out with that. Anyone else got? I mean, we're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes, but if anyone's got any other comments, questions, please do feel free. Otherwise, I shall bid you farewell. And perhaps next week, should we set the agenda for next week? Live stream 3. So what are we going to do? We are going to work out how to store, or where to store the data, not how, where to store the data. We are going to build a data set for manufacturing. Yeah, we're going to build that data set. Yeah, we did plan on doing that, but so we'll build a data set for manufacturing, and we're going to calculate shipping costs, and maybe start a finance data set as well. Because if you think about it, we're starting off with almost 1.2 million, right? So let's just do a quick back of the napkin kind of thing. So what are there were 4,200 backers there and thereabouts, and they all. No, in fact, it was a total of like 1.2 million. Okay. No, we need backers. What am I talking about? So let's just do 4. That's the number of units that we need to produce. And if we remember in our data set, how much did we say it was going to be? 119, I think, right? 119. Okay. So that times by 119. That's $487,900. And we brought in 1.2 million, right? So that gives us over 700,000 to order 6 months worth of sales, or units rather, for the sales for the first 6 months. But that's kind of, that's one of the next stages. So maybe we could think about starting finance data set configuration. I think that's probably going to be enough for next week, but if I think of anything else that could be interesting, I can add that in as well. But I think that's probably a good agenda for next week. So same time next week, that's 4 p.m. Paris time. So I don't know what time is that in Brazil, Bruno? What time is it in Botswana, Just Kes? What time is it in India? Is it a good time for you guys? But anyway, we're going to keep this going on a weekly basis. And as I said, unless something crops up and I can't make it, it's going to be at the same time, same day, Wednesday at 4 p.m. Paris time. So Bruno says it is almost 1 p.m. in Brazil. So it's kind of like a midday start for you. That's kind of lunchtime project building. Sounds good. Okay, so right, yeah, every week at Wednesday at 4 p.m. I will see you next Friday. In between, and as I said, if you're joining this and you haven't seen the previous live streams, don't bother with the very first one. Well, you can if you want. If you want to follow the full timeline of what we've been doing, you can do that. But if you really want to understand what the backstory is and the steps we went through to generate the backstory with ChatGPT, generate the first kind of data sets, please do watch the previous live stream, which is available on my channel. So Bruno says, for me, it's a good time. Fantastic. It's a good time for me as well. Wednesday is a day when my kids are off school. So in France, there's no school on a Wednesday. Don't know if it's the same where you are, but it means they spend the day with my mother, with their grandmother. So I've got much more time, free time this time. Otherwise, at the 4 p.m. on a Friday, I need to go and pick them up from school. So this is better on a Wednesday for me. As long as that I don't have any other work or teaching commitments that I do sometimes have on a Wednesday, I will try and stick to this as much as possible. And if I can't do it, I will let you know. So make sure you check the community page, or the post. I think it's called the posts page now on my channel, which will have all the information. Otherwise, you can go to my website. You can go to learnbi.online, or you can go to learnbi.academy and sign up for my mailing list. So I will let you know whether things change, times change. All right, anyway, I'm rambling now, so I'm going to let you go. It's just 1 minute past 5, Wednesday, 5th of February. Thank you very much for joining and participating today. Please do like the video, subscribe, and hopefully I will see you next week, same time, same place. Thanks again, and take it easy and enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.